So why do we suffer is a topic that's really been on my mind as of late. In life, it's pretty much inevitable that we will suffer. We will suffer in several facets. We will suffer from the disappointment of losing loved ones. We will suffer from rejection from jobs or those that we thought that care about us. We will suffer from losing friendships. We will suffer through anything and everything. And we ask ourselves, if we are a certain way, if we're a good person, why does this happen to me? And the unfortunate truth is that suffering is inevitable. We will all experience it in different shapes and forms of our life. I would challenge all of us, including myself, when these things happen, to look at the bigger scope of why suffering happens. Suffering to me is such a unfathomable experience that you really can't even explain a singular situation without finding something that's way more hurtful, way more disconnected, way more distasteful, because the overall essence of human life is not only joy, but it's suffering. It's not only love, it's loss. It's not only happiness, but sadness. The duality of good and bad, the experiences that we all have to face, sometimes for no reason, sometimes that's not even a question that can be answered in one single way. I think the overall reason for suffering is a reminder of that. It's a reminder of our duality. It's a reminder that we only have so much control in this life. And unfortunately, because of that, and our ability to think, our ability to have desires, our ability to have wants, we often find ourselves in extreme pain and disappointment when suffering does happen. I wish there was a one-stop shop answer. I wish that we can remove suffering from everything and everyone, because suffering is a very hard thing. And I think a lot of us, especially as we continue to get older as people, a lot of us that are still trying to heal from our childhood wounds, even adult wounds, even as we get later on in life, things that are really deeply entrenched in us, it seems like the suffering never stops. And that is a very difficult thing, I think, for anybody to admit and to walk through alone. I think one of the best things that we can do is remind ourselves that we need people around us that really care about us, not only through the times of suffering, but just through everyday life. I think what makes this whole concept of promoting positivity or being reflective or trying to be a jolt of inspiration in just life or content or through talks is that there's many people who may not feel like that this is going to resonate with them because of what they're experiencing right now. There are some things that people are experiencing that I could only even imagine a fraction of the pain that they're feeling. It could feel like you're alone, that you have nobody to talk to, that you have nobody to go to. And people are trying to give you all their opinions of what they should do or what you think you should do, and nobody wants to hear it. And I very much understand that. I very much understand when people feel like there's nothing else that they can do besides talk to themselves. The voices in their head are the only thing that are making sense, because nothing else in the world is making sense. It's just one thing after another after another. And I think we have to do better as people to empathize with people in their experiences. I think we have to find a way to quit acting like we have to have everything together, because that is another form of suffering itself, which is perfectionism. The idea that you always have to have it together. You got to climb to this next step to get to feeling like you're like the rest of the world, when in actuality, majority of the world is suffering in some shape or form. We either have mental health crisis, we're having wars, we're having economy problems, we're having people lose jobs, we're having students graduate college and not finding a job, we have student loan debt. There's so much suffering in the world. Who are we to tell people what is right and what is wrong on how to navigate through suffering? Because the truth is, there isn't an answer. There's not a one-way answer for these things. Have to do better with that. We do. Support matters, love matters, all those things matter. But I want to say one last thing about suffering that I think it's an interesting spin, so just stick with me for a second. Suffering happens to all of us, right? We can agree to that. I often think that suffering are teaching tools to help us prepare to serve the next group of people who may go through something similar like us. And that isn't to give them unsolicited advice. It is to help prepare them, or help provide comfort, to help them understand that these things are going to happen to all of us. So the root form of suffering is pain, but also can come with love. It can come with compassion. It can come with giving. It can come with grace. And we can do this every single day with all of us in our lives. We don't have to have things happening to us for us to experience those things, or not to be mindful of the fact that somebody could be suffering. Because a lot of us are suffering in silence. We're not talking about it. We're not showing it. We're not doing anything. We have to mask up, as I mentioned, the perfectionism thing. We're doing it over and over and over. And it has to stop. We have to let our guards down. We need to reveal who we truly are. I know it's scary. Being vulnerable is one of the most difficult things anybody can do, because people can use it against you. I've been there. I've heard it. I understand it. Never said it was a 1, 2, 3 stop. But it would help us get so much further in life if we were truly honest with ourselves on how we were feeling. Don't have to broadcast it to the world, but broadcast it to people that are important to you, so they can know, so they can better help support you, especially if these are the people that you feel really care about you. They should know how you're feeling. We got to let go of this wall. We have to let go of the need to feel like we got it all figured out, because all that does is most likely create a bigger hole, creates more damage. And your body will tell you, man. Your body will tell you when you're going through something. One thing I've learned, not only in school, but just in life, that trauma is stored in our bodies. A lot of us are walking around with trauma stored in our bodies because we're suffering internally. And our body is telling us something needs to change. So don't let it get too late before you make that change. I love y'all and appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. I will see you all soon. Until next time, peace.